Greetings, everyone. My name is Stacey Khan, and I am here with my colleague Hilary Chirumwana. We are excited to share with you some of the 2024 Wave 1 release updates for Dynamics 365 Business Central. This release contains numerous improvements, and today we will be focusing on some of the key application highlights for you. Before we jump into the details, just a little bit about Quisitive. Quisitive is Microsoft's US Partner of the Year for 3 years in a row. We have been in the dynamic space for over 25 years, and we have experts across the globe focused on helping clients build, innovate, and thrive with Microsoft technology, including the latest in AI advancements. Now, let's get into the improvements. You now have the ability to assign a salesperson directly to a customer's ship-to address. Here's how. Navigate to the customer card page, select the customer you are working with, and then under Customer, click on Ship-to Addresses. This will take you to the Ship-to Address list page. From there, select the relevant ship-to address and assign the salesperson responsible for the customer's ship-to address. From now on, when generating a sales order or a sales invoice and selecting an alternate shipping address as the ship-to location, the salesperson code will correspond to the salesperson associated with the ship-to address rather than the bill-to customer. Improvements in configuration packages. Enhancements have been made to configuration packages, allowing for the inclusion of fields with multi-line text, such as work description. Simply select the Include Field checkbox on the Configuration Package Fields page to add these fields to your configuration package. You can then export the data to Excel from the Configuration Package card page. After updating your multi-line text data, in the Work Description column, import the updated Excel file by choosing the Import from Excel action on the Configuration Package card page. Once validated, import the data by selecting the Apply Package action. After applying the package, open the sales document, such as the sales invoice, to confirm that the multi-line text has been successfully imported. Employee transactions in foreign currencies. You can now record employee transactions in foreign currencies by adding the currency code field to employee accounts. This addition facilitates processes like utilizing general journals for expense reimbursements. With the currency code field, you can specify the currency in which the expense occurred, enabling transactions to be recorded similarly to those in the customer and vendor ledgers. Also, to ensure the accuracy of the exchange rates for these transactions, you can adjust the employee balances by running the currency exchange rate batch job. Exchange rate monitoring on financial consolidation runs. When conducting consolidations for business units operating with foreign currencies, it is essential to monitor exchange rates, especially when you have to redo consolidations. Now, you can track exchange rates on the Setup Business Unit Currencies page under the Exchange Rates action. This page displays the latest entries for average, closing, and last closing rates. You can modify the exchange rates in the currency exchange rate table and adjust for the current consolidation run as needed. This feature is particularly useful for rerunning previous consolidations and utilizing the close rate from the prior consolidation run. Deferral codes. You now have the option to apply a deferral code to sales and purchase journal lines, enabling you to post deferral transactions within these journals. Deferrals work similarly in sales and purchase journals as they do in general journals. And this involves setting up the deferral template and inputting the calculation method, the start date, number of periods, and period description. GL account revaluations. Many companies use general ledger accounts to record balance sheet items that are denominated in foreign currencies, and a revaluation of these balances are often required before you produce financial statements. Microsoft has introduced a general ledger revaluation feature to address this need. To activate it, ensure it is enabled for all users through feature management. This new feature enables the activation of a subledger for the general ledger account involved in the revaluation. This subledger retains the original currency value of transactions and any adjustments made using the adjust currency exchange rate batch job. Access the revaluation setup is on the GL account card, specifically under the revaluation fast tab. Within the revaluation setup, you can specify the source currency posting and code, allowing you to designate which source currencies can be posted to the account. You can toggle options such as source currency revaluation and unrealized revaluation as needed. To perform a GL currency revaluation, navigate to GL currency revaluation under Home from your chart of accounts. Fill in the options and filters as required. Upon completion of the GL revaluation process, you will be able to view the original currency value of transactions and any adjustments made using the currency exchange rate job. Access archive documents. Once you have archived purchase and sales quotes and orders, whether manually or automatically, the archive versions retain any incoming documents you attached prior to archiving. For instance, if you attached an incoming document to a purchase order and subsequently fully received and invoiced the order, accessing the purchase list archive page by selecting the number in the number of archive versions field allow you to view archive versions of the purchase order. And within the incoming document fact box on this page, you will find attachments that were originally associated with the document. And now I am going to turn things over to my colleague Hilary to continue with the updates.
Thank you, Stacy. Use standard terminology for project management. Business Central in this documentation has been updated to replace jobs with projects. Searching using jobs still works. This is helpful for those who have used Business Central for a long time and are used to the term jobs. Archiving projects. Users can now archive projects in Business Central. The setup is on the project setup page on the archiving tab. 3 archiving preferences are available: and the selected setting will be applied on all projects moving forward. The options are never, question, and always. If you select never, the system will not archive projects automatically. You can still manually archive the projects. If you select question, when changing or deleting a project, the system will prompt you to choose if you want to archive the project. If always is selected, the system will automatically archive the project each time changes are made to the project or it's deleted. You can also manually archive a project by choosing Actions, Functions, Archive Project on the project card. You can restore and archive project if there are no posted transactions. You cannot restore a deleted project. Dimensions cannot be restored. The system restores the project with default dimensions. Create projects you can invoice multiple customers. It is now possible to bill a project to more than one customer. This is helpful when you have different customers performing different project tasks. The setup is defined on the project card in the Invoice and Shipping tab. On the Task Billing Method field, you choose one customer or multiple customers. If you select multiple customers, you cannot change back to one customer. Upon selecting multiple customers, the customer name and bill to customer name fields will now be available on the project card task section. If not, you have to use the personalize function to add them. Invoice a customer for multiple projects. Business Central now has the functionality to bill multiple projects on one sales invoice by adding multiple project planning lines to a sales invoice. This is achieved using the Get Project Planning Lines action on the Lines First tab of a sales invoice. When the Get Project Planning Lines action is selected, the system will display for selection projects where the sell to customer, bill to customer, and invoicing currency match the sales invoice, and the quantity to invoice is greater than 0. You can select multiple lines at a time and also repeat to add another set of project planning lines if required. The Get Project Planning Lines action is not available on sales orders and sales quotes. Define the default location and bin for a project or project task. Users can now specify a default location and bin for a project or project task. On the project card, the default location and bin are defined on the Posting tab. When defined on the project card, this default location and bin will be defaulted when creating project tasks. Existing project tasks will not be updated with the changes. On the project task card, the default location and bin are also defined on the Posting tab. When defined on the project task card, these default location and bin will be defaulted on project planning lines and project journal lines moving forward. Existing lines will not be updated with the changes. More efficiency when approving timesheets. Functionality has been added to allow users to define how the system handles empty lines during timesheet submission for approval by choosing Time Submission Policy in the Resource Setup page. The available options for the timesheet submission policy are empty lines not submitted and stop and show empty line error. If you choose empty lines not submitted, lines that do not contain hours to submit will be skipped. This is the default setting. If you select Stop and Show Empty Line Error, the system will not submit the timesheet and will show an empty line error if a line or lines are missing hours. Fields were added to the Manager Timesheet by Project page to increase efficiency when approving timesheets and to approve multiple timesheets at the same time. Added fields include resource number, resource name, Saturday and Sunday are included, total quantity field which shows the total time per timesheet line, The timesheet comments fact box shows the timesheet header comments during approval. The timesheet line details fact box provides access to line comments and shows the line project name and task description. Upon clicking the Approve button, a message comes up defaulted to selected lines to help prevent mistakenly approving all lines. More efficiency when entering timesheets. Improvements were made to simplify the timesheet entry process, including the ability to copy previous timesheets. A new timesheet tile was added to the Role Center self-service section. The user's timesheets with no lines will appear on this tile. A current timesheet action was added to the Role Center self-service section to quickly and easily open the timesheet for the current period. Business Central uses the user's workdate setting on the My Settings page to determine the current period. On the timesheet page, the Submit and Reopen buttons are grayed out as follows. The Submit button is grayed out if there are no lines on the timesheet to prevent submission of timesheets with no lines. The Reopen button is grayed out on unsubmitted timesheets. The status field styling is red and italic if information required to submit the line is missing. For example, if there are no hours for the line. Depending on how Business Central is set up, the project number, project task number, cause of absence code, chargeable, and work type fields will show on the timesheet page. For example, if the cause of absence codes are not defined, the cause of absence field will not show on the timesheet page. Also added is a timesheet line details fact box, which provides information on timesheet line comments and resources, projects, and project tasks. Choosing Prepare Copy lines from the timesheet on the timesheet page presents options to copy lines from the timesheet or copy lines from timesheet with no comments. Further options are available to filter timesheets to copy from all open or submitted timesheets. A timesheet line details fact box was added that provides more details for the lines to help users select the required lines. This concludes our highlights of some of the new features in the Business Central 2024 Release Wave 1. If you have questions, please reach us at updates@quisitive.com. Thank you.